Well, g'day, Vitaly. Welcome to the show, mate. I've been wanting to get you on for a while. It's an absolute pleasure to have you here today.
That's exciting. Good talking to you, Pete.
Now, I just want to give everyone a little brief intro. I don't normally do an intro for someone, but you play a real significant part in the show itself. I would even say that if it wasn't for you, I probably wouldn't even have this show. Now, how it started was when I ventured online. A lot of people know when I tell my story that I was searching for a way to start a business online or something online, and the thing that I found, everyone finds their first thing, was something that you were offering, and you introduced me to the whole world of online marketing. Way back when, like 4 years ago. So I want to kind of find out.
It had to be around 2009.
It was early 2009, yeah.
Early 2009, yeah.
So it's nearly 4 years ago. And so I want to find out just about what was going on for you then, and we'll just talk about what sort of happened in the last 4 years to sort of see where you're at. Now, how it starts is I was looking for an opportunity. I actually was looking for a seminar, researching a guy called Peter Sun, actually, and you were clever and used his name as a keyword, which I clicked on. You know, Peter Sun, ex-student, makes, I don't know, $50 million online. No, it wasn't that ridiculous, but it was, makes money online. I thought, well, there's a guy who's followed this guy's example, and so I clicked on it and was introduced to you. Now, what was it you were doing at the time that sort of created that situation, that scenario?
Well, there's a long story behind it.
This is a long episode. That's all right.
Okay. All right. You want me to start way back?
As long as it takes, man. Let's basically go through your story, how you got to that point.
Okay.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, because I think it's important, and I'm glad you brought up the exact details of you were searching for somebody for a specific name, and that's how you found me and took you down that rabbit hole. But there's a story behind it, and I actually got started in business way back in 1995. I've been involved in direct sales, and nothing to do online. It was strictly direct sales with a financial services company, but I was in business for myself, kind of like an independent rep. And I did that. That's when I really cut the entrepreneurial bug and decided that I'm going to be on my own, and I did that for almost 11 years. So from early 1995 through end of 2005 is when I discovered online marketing. Now, during those 10 and a half years roughly, what I did was basically prospect, lots of cold calls, getting on the phone, talking to people, trying to get in front of them, set up an appointment, go into their house in the evenings, do presentations, talk about insurance, investments, college education, retirement. So it's pretty brutal now that I think back about it. It was exciting because it was an opportunity. You can sit down with somebody, you can sell them a product and make commissions, and plus it was direct sales, so I could actually recruit people into my agency and make an override. So it was all good. The only problem was that I hated getting on the phone. And for any business, to generate business, you have to, you have to find prospects. You have to have a pipeline full of prospects. And the only way in that business that I could do it, or that I knew how to do it, and the only way that I was trained to do it, was to get on the phone, to prospect, basically hit the streets every day. And after 10 years, you get really, really tired of that. I mean, lots of rejection, lots of, pounding the pavement, so to speak. And so I really wasn't looking for anything, but somewhere deep inside of me, I didn't want to continue down that road because I was I was 29 years old. I had a 3-year-old child. I was in that business for 10 years. I was doing fairly well, but the idea of getting on the phone every single day and lots of manual labor, lots of grunt work, lots of appointments in the evening, I just didn't want to continue doing that for the rest of my life. So on a subconscious level, I guess I was searching, and I get home one day, and when I say on a subconscious level, I wasn't actively looking for anything, but you put out that vibe, and something happens out there, and you attract things into your life. I mean, that's really how everything happens, I think, how we manifest things. Anyway, long story short, I get home one day, and I open up the mailbox, and there's a little brochure. It's not a brochure, it's like a little booklet in there. Basically, it was a long-form sales letter wrapped into a booklet. But it was a booklet with pictures, and it taught from a guy named Corey Rudel, who People probably don't know. He was one of the early pioneers of online marketing, and he tragically passed away a few years ago in a racing car accident. But anyway, he started a company called the Internet Marketing Center, which was huge in the late 90s and early 2000s. And so this little brochure, this little booklet talked about an opportunity to jump online and have a website that can sell something. It could be an ebook, it can be a membership site, whatever. And you could make money, and it would be like a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week salesperson working for you without you, and this was the key, without you having to pick up a phone and call anybody and go see them and close them and overcome their objections. It could all be automated. Well, that was music to my ears, because after 10 years of doing that, I'm like, really? I mean, I can like set something up and it can work on autopilot. I don't have to do anything. So it wasn't a hard sell for me to order whatever it was. It was a set of DVDs for $97, and that opened my eyes. That really what got started me in this whole internet marketing business. I was ready, you know, I was already in business for myself for 10 years. I was very entrepreneurial. I just didn't understand anything about marketing. I knew the sales end of it, but I didn't know anything about marketing. So that took me down the rabbit hole, and you know, one thing led to another. You know how it is, and you discover more products, and you start learning about, oh, there's copywriting, and there's lead generation, and there's all these different things, and all these different moving pieces of the puzzle. But I was motivated enough to want to dive in and learn every one of those things, because I knew that this was the answer. This is exactly what I need to do. And if I, you know, if I want to create an automated business, which everybody dreams about, right? A business where you can sit home and generate money, and there's a lot of work that goes behind it, of course. But if I was going to do that, this would be it. You know, the internet would be the place, and direct response marketing would be the key, so to speak. And so I got started with that in October of 2005. And I did a lot of different things. You know, I did eBay. I did a lot of affiliate marketing. I started with information products too, because I actually bought a license to a number of products that I could sell online. That basically resell somebody else's products. Yep. With a license that I purchased from them, and get to keep 100% of the profit. So I did a lot of those things, and I made a lot of mistakes, like everybody has in the process. But I also figured out what works, what doesn't work, and I just, you know, kept tweaking things and kept getting better. And what happened when in 2009, now let's fast forward to 2009. I was selling an opportunity. Basically, it was a high-end affiliate program, Carbon Copy Pro, mm-hmm. and you had to purchase, you know, the program to be able to offer it, to be able to sell it. And what you said, you know, about going online, and yep, there we go. And I can probably pull one off the shelf right there too. Business in a box. Yes. There's another one. This is the $400 one. There's also another $1,600 one that comes, right? You have that too. There we go. Okay, this is it. So what you said about going online and searching for something and then finding my ad, this is the magic. This is what this business is all about. This is what I didn't understand for 10 years in my old business, that I had to manually pick up the phone, you know, find people that are interested, call them up, overcome their objections, answer their questions, whatever, get in front of them. But when you understand direct response marketing, which is basically putting an ad, it doesn't matter whether it is. In that case, it was on Google, but there are plenty of places out there, online and offline, putting an ad, targeting somebody, a specific group of people, somebody that you know will be interested in whatever it is that you're offering, and putting something compelling where it's going to cause them to respond to your ad, and do it, and I didn't have to seek you out. You found me. That is what response marketing is all about. That is the magic. That is the dream. And when you can master that aspect of it, and when you can put those ads all over the place, and you have something good to offer, that's when business just takes off for you. So that's basically where I was going all this time. And so in 2009, I was working with this company. I was promoting them, and things were great. I mean, I had my lead generation machine going. Google was good at it to us at the time. It yes. changed a lot since then. But yeah, you could set up ads and you know, watch the leads come in, and basically it was all happening on virtually autopilot. So that's
yeah, cool, man.
That's why I was at the time. It was very exciting.
Yeah. Now I'm so glad that I've heard all of that firsthand, because you kind of touched on it. Now, this is what I think was the key, which a lot of people miss now, that you just had in spades right there and then. So I want to sort of tell the story now from my point when I was looking for that opportunity. Right. So what happened was I was in my copier business 3 years, and then I was just cruising. It was just like my lead generation was my mate had sell a machine, who helped me start that business. And he would sell a machine and ring me up and say, Pete, got another customer. Cool. He'd put a sticker on the machine with both our numbers. If it broke down, they'd call me up. So for me, calls just came in and I thought business was easy and everyone else was stupid. But it was because I didn't set it up. He'd already set it up and I just kind of tapped into what he'd already created. And it was 3 years into it when I kind of realised if I leave Sydney, I have no business. And then if I want to create something, it has to be online. So that's when I went searching online to find what was out there. So I started looking for opportunities to sell, I think it was audio equipment, ex-lease audio equipment, and I was going to sell it on eBay or from a warehouse or a website or something. I thought the online is a big part of it. So in that search, I found Peter's son, and it was similar sort of story, actually, in a way. Like, there's a lot of parallels where I read my first ever long sales copy, and I was like desperate to get to this seminar, hoping that I'd get that free ticket. Once I'd signed up, I kind of realized, well, they're all free. But anyway, I was registered for that seminar, and it was in that interim between, I think it was a week or two, that I was researching him, and I started looking at his videos online. I thought, I wonder what he's got out there. And I was looking at his videos of him doing his seminar live, and I was like, oh, this is really cool. He's got videos. Now I know what I'm going to get when I go there to the seminar. And it was in that process searching for those videos, and on Google that your ad came up. When I Googled his name, that's when your ad came up. But I think the next part of the puzzle is something that you've really captured it, is when I clicked on it and it was a video of you, a 10-minute video, basically sharing your story and talking about, probably a little bit shorter than what you told then and a little bit different because you're sort of aiming to sell that product. But you were talking about your training and you'd spent this much money, invested this much time. And I think really what I did, I connected with you as a person. And I thought, look, I actually just believed that what you said was true. And then you said, look, here's the opportunity. Click on this link below this video. And that took me to Jay Kubisek's video where he talked about the opportunity of Carbon Copy Pro. So I think that element there is where it really came to be. So that video that you made, you probably can't remember it exactly now. Had you done a lot of video before then? Had you had a lot of experience creating these videos? Were you new to Carbon Copy Pro? Or is it just your experience of 10 years of pounding the pavement, as you said? That video really caught me.
I have
that video
not
was everything.
created any videos. I have not created any videos at all before. I mean, maybe a couple. I mean, that was really my first attempt at creating videos. So, yeah.
Okay, right.
It was all just stuff that I've done before that came out of my head. Plus, some, of course, experience online. But mainly, the way I feel right now about, or the way I felt when I was telling you about that magic, right, where people find you. That's how I feel now. That's how I felt back then. That's how I felt the very first moment I read that little thing that I found in the mailbox. That, wait a minute. 10 years of calling people, I don't have to do that anymore. And that a lot of people, if you don't come from that world, it's very hard to understand how good this is, how magical this is. Now, the word magic and all that has been probably overused a lot, but the truth is that if you can set up a system where you can capture somebody's name and lead them to a place where you can connect with them, like you said, you don't have a video, it doesn't have to be anything Hollywood production style or anything like that. Just be yourself. Just tell your story. And as long as you promote something that's good, something that you believe in, people are going to respond to that. I think that's the key. So, but to answer your question, no, I have not done any videos. And as far as Carbon Copy Pro, I've been at it. Let's see, I don't know when we connected. I don't remember the exact time, but I started back in November of 2008. That's when I first learned about Carbon Copy Pro. So
it was probably like a handful of months, a few months, 4 or 5 months.
Yeah, just a few months. Yeah, I've only probably if it was early, probably 3-4 months, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now I think this is the thing. This is the key to that relationship working, was because I connected with you as a person. But what I really liked, it was just completely devoid of hype. There was like no excitement, trying to build your excitement to make this big purchase and you're going to be a millionaire or anything like that. It was just like, here's what I found, and I got it, because I think in the same situation as you were in, I was just ready. I was already trying to create a situation where, what it did for me back then, it solved my problem. I was trying to, I was thinking of a product, warehousing, advertise, how am I going to do all these things? And like for me, wrapped up in that business in a box, it was a business in a box. It was like, wow, it gives me all the training, which is, I think, the key. I was really more interested in it. You're going to train me on the internet, which is what I wanted to know. And you happen to have a product that I could sell as well. So I don't even have to have that sorted out. So let's talk about that training back then, because you were doing pay-per-click, which was your big thing at the time. And I had no idea of any of it. So I wasn't going to jump in and start chucking money into something like that. And what I found in that system, that training system, Carbon Copy Pro, was all the internet marketing stuff, like the free stuff, the blogs, video marketing, article marketing, all those things. Could you just talk a bit about that type of system, or that type of training, that free stuff? Have you had much to do with that yourself since?
When you say free stuff, you're talking about free traffic generation?
Yeah, like free traffic. Like I learned about Craigslist. I learned about video marketing, how to do articles, copywriting. So everything that you could put sort of on the social networks type stuff. Had you had much to do with that, and how do you see that happening?
I have, but most of my success came from paid traffic.
Yeah.
Okay, although I have done a lot of free traffic stuff as well. And the reason I did, let me back up for a minute. When I got started online, I didn't immediately jump into pay-per-click, unfortunately, and I think it was because part of my left brain, the analytical side, was holding me back. Well, let me learn all of this. Let me, and although I should have known better, I should have really jumped into it and gotten everything, squeezed everything I could out of Google. When the going is good, you need to get everything you can. And Google was a money-making machine for people who understood how to use it. What I mean by that is clicks were relatively cheap. Okay, now it wasn't as cheap as maybe, let's say, 2002, 2003, when when Google first really unleashed their AdWords program, the pay-per-click side, where basically people who don't know what pay-per-click is when you set up an ad somewhere, and when people click on it is when you get paid, when you pay for the clicks. So you don't pay for the ad, you only pay for the actual actions that people take. So that's pay-per-click. And with Google, you could set up an ad, and literally in 15 minutes you can target some keywords. Like I targeted Peter's son, who actually, the reason why I targeted him is because I own a lot of licensing rights to a lot of different marketing programs, and Peter Son is one of the programs that I have some of his books, that I could resell. And actually, I don't sell them separately, but they were packaged in a bigger package that I have. So, of course, I knew who he was, and I have studied his material. The guy is a brilliant marketer and direct response copywriter and has been doing it for a number of years. So my train of thought was, well, people that are certain, and this is really important here, you want to target people that are the most likely candidates, because what you said, you hit the nail on the head. You said you were ready, right? So why were you ready? Or how would I know that you would be the kind of person that would be ready if I target that ad? Because I figured if somebody's going to search for Peter's son, well, obviously they're interested in direct response marketing. So it just makes sense that there's already going to be a connection between what I have and what they're searching for. Maybe not a 100% connection as far as what they're looking for, but it's going to be pretty close. Okay? So I didn't just target anything and everything. I targeted very specific keywords. And so that was the paid side of things. So to answer your question as far as free traffic, what happened was I did a ton of pay-per-click, just a lot of pay-per-click, got a lot of leads, had a sizable list at one point. And what happened is in Google in late 2009, early 2010, started basically kicking people out of the AdWords program. They started calling it the Google slap,
Yes.
And particularly they were targeting people in weight loss markets, in business opportunity markets, probably dating markets, some big ones like that, but mainly the business opportunity and the weight loss. I did not do a whole lot of weight loss, maybe a few affiliate programs, but I was doing a lot with the business opportunity. And I wasn't promoting anything bad, but as an industry as a whole, Google just doesn't like that kind of stuff, and they don't like direct response pages. They don't like any hype, although you said I didn't have anything hypey, but to them, any claim is hype. Anything that you say, you can make money, Google considers it hype. So I don't want to spend too much time on Google, but basically in 2010, one day I get an email from Google that my account is gone, okay? And it was very tough because 90% of my income was coming from that. Okay, and that there's a huge lesson in that you never, ever want to rely on just one source of anything, one source of traffic, one source of anything, because as good as it can be one day, it can just be taken away just like that. And that's exactly what happened with me. We bought a new home a couple of years before. I had 7-month-old twins and a 10-year-old, or actually she's 10 now. She was 8 years old at the time. So I had an 8-year-old daughter and 7-month-old twins. Our 100% of our income was from what I did online and in my marketing business, and 90% of that came from Google. And in one instant, I had a 6-figure income that was gone. So it was tough. Okay, I'm not going to go into all the details. It was very tough for me. So I had to regroup and do something. I wasn't going to go back, get a job. I wasn't going to go back to my old business. So I started thinking, well, what can I do? And well, I had my list, so I started, emailing my list with different promotions. I got a lot more into email marketing. We can talk about that later because I think that is really one of the most important things that you can do. But we'll talk about that if you want a little bit later. But I started thinking about free traffic because I already got burnt with Google. And I said, well, what if I learn all this free traffic stuff? Article marketing, videos, and I started doing SEO. I spent a lot of money. I started learning SEO from all these quote unquote gurus. Some were good, some were bad, and I just jumped into building blogs and building massive amounts of backlinks and lots of articles, lots of press releases. I didn't do anything with Craigslist, just anything that would drive my websites up, and it was working until Google changed their algorithm, and then you drop in your ranks.
Yeah.
For these keywords, then you got to rework and regroup and bring them back up again. So I think there's good to it, but personally, I like the fact that you can place an ad somewhere, and as long as you can find good quality traffic coming in from whatever that place is, and you're getting a response, and you're making more than you're spending, to me, that's the ultimate, okay? But that's how I operate. I know a lot of people like the free stuff, and that's great. And I think it's good to have a balance of both, quite honestly. I think it's good to have, kind of like, don't keep your eggs in one basket. So if you're doing paid traffic, and you want to do some free traffic on the side with it, great. The best way to do it, in my opinion, is to outsource it because it's a lot of labor to do all that yourself. So that's what I actually did. I was outsourcing. I had some article writers that were writing articles. I had somebody that was submitting them to Easy Articles and some other article directories, and I had somebody else that was doing the backlinkings for my website. So if you can balance that, then, well, that's the ultimate, because you can have your paid traffic stuff, you can have your free traffic stuff going here, but it's best to outsource it because otherwise you'll be sitting there 24 hours a day writing up articles, putting them on the websites. Free isn't really free. It's kind of a myth. It's not free traffic. It's organic traffic, but it's not free because you still have to do the work, either yourself or pay somebody to do it. That's really the truth about free traffic. So there is no free.
You got to pay with money or time.
Yeah. So, but that was my experience with organic traffic, and did quite a bit of it.
Okay, man. Well, now what are you doing these days, right? So let's get fast forward right to this point now. What's your business all about? Because back then it was all those programs and the traffic and all that sort of stuff. What do you do? Well,
after my rendezvous with Google and everything that has happened, I started analyzing. It's been a few years since then, and I started thinking about, well, where do I want to head, right? Where do I want to go moving forward? How do I want to see my business, and what can I take away from that? What can I learn from that so I don't repeat that mistake again? And in putting, I don't know if I have all the pieces of the puzzle together. I think I do, but there's always more stuff that you can learn. I realized that the most important thing in your internet business, and that's my personal perspective, everybody's doing it differently, but the most important thing is building assets, and your asset is your list. So everybody heard the saying, I'm sure, that the money's in the list, but in my opinion, it's not just in the list. The money is in the relationships with the list. So it's not, I know people that have massive lists, okay, hundreds of thousands of people on their list, but if you don't have a relationship with them, that list is basically worthless. It's just numbers. They don't read your emails. They don't, so you have to have a connection with your audience. And I think that should be the foundation. If I was to go back 7 years, and I'm getting to what I'm doing right now, but
cool, man.
I give you my philosophy.
This will take as long as it takes, and I'm happy to go.
Yeah, if I was to go back and start from scratch, from day one, the only thing I would focus on is building a list and keeping them happy and not deviate from that. Traffic sources come and go, techniques come and go, affiliate promotions, products come and go. But if you have a list and you have a relationship with that list, you can no matter what you're promoting, no matter what direction you're heading into, you can monetize that asset and you can keep growing it and keep growing it. And that's what the smart marketers have done. So I started shifting towards that really a couple years ago. When I say shifting, I started making email marketing the central point of my business, where I'm going to spend more time on communicating with my list in a way that keeps them happy. And what I mean by keeps them happy, there's a reason why they got onto my list, which was to learn about internet marketing, right? To learn something about making money online or direct response marketing or copywriting or whatever. So that's what I need to provide for them. I need to provide good content mixed with whatever I'm promoting. So whatever I'm promoting, I have to make sure that it resonates with what they're interested in. But at the same time, it can't just be sell, sell, sell and no content, because who wants to be pitched all the time? So you have to have a good mix of content and sales in order to keep your list happy and still be making money. So I started really, focusing on honing my skills when it comes to email copywriting. And copy really is one of the most important things online. So coming from a sales background, I can certainly appreciate that, because in sales, closing the sale is the bottom line. If you don't, you can have a great presentation, you can have a great product, you can see people, but at the end of the day, if you don't ask for the business, you're not going to make money. As a business owner, you would agree with that, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So in online and in direct response, that is what copywriting is all about. It's creating copy that sells. Now, it's not just long-form sales letters. It's opt-in forms. You're basically making a sale at every point of your of your funnel. So when you put an ad out there, or even when you put a free article out there, you got to have some kind of a call to action to get these people from that website or from that ad to come to your opt-in page, to your website. Okay, so that sale starts right there. That relationship and that copy starts right there. Okay, and then you take them down that rabbit hole, or your funnel, basically. The next step is to get them to opt into your list. So it's not just hey, opt in. I'll send you this free report. It's whatever they're interested in. You got to find out, why are they on your website? What do they want? Do they want more information about this? Are they interested in this? Whatever it is, and then you got to figure out what's best. What kind of a lead magnet can you create to get them onto your list and provide something in return for for them entering their name and email. So that would be the next step. And then after that, you can start your ongoing email communication. And once you get these people to like you and trust you, that's when they start, that's when that connection happens, and that's when they start buying from you. So that's why your list is the most important thing, and getting people on your list is one of the most important things. When I made that shift, that's kind of what I decided to do with my business. Is I started, two things that I'm doing right now that led me from that realization to do what I do right now is, one is I have some info products that I'm selling to different groups of people. I'm working with business owners who basically have regular brick and mortar businesses. Some have online businesses, some don't. And I have products that teach them copywriting and teach them direct response marketing and things like that. And I also have a much larger group of people that are basically interested in doing something online, starting an online business, be it an affiliate marketing business, information marketing. Most people don't even know what they want; they just want to do something online. So that's what that's what I have for them. And the other thing that I'm doing on top of that, I'm also working with a company where I do their copywriting, mainly email copywriting and things like that. So
you can mention that
because that resonates with what's that?
You can mention that company if you like.
Sure, it's Magnetic Sponsoring. It's actually it's a company that I found out before I even joined Carbon Copy Pro, and I have what I do for them totally resonates with my personality and my experience and my background, because it's a network marketing educational company. It's actually not a network marketing company. They work in the network marketing niche, providing educational products to network marketers, MLM companies, and things like that. And that's my background. I mean, direct sales and then online marketing. That's what I've been doing for the last 17 years. So
can we talk a bit about how you actually got that gig? Because that just so people know, it's not a small deal. That's a big deal to be the email dude for Magnetic Sponsoring. Because I got my copy of that over here. It's one of the first things that I bought, and it really clued me into how it really works, how the business works, and sales funnels and all that good stuff. So how did you get that gig? And talk a bit about that.
It was strictly by accident. I mean, nothing is an accident, and my experience is, and everything that I do and have done, kind of led me to the point where I could approach a company like that. But what happened was I found out from another copywriter that they were looking for somebody to write copy for them and do their emails and things like that. Basically, they were looking to work with a copywriter. So I just approached them and I told them what I did. I gave them my experience and, did a couple emails for them, and here we are.
And how long have you been doing that for then?
At this point, about 7 months.
7 months. Okay, wow.
Yeah.
Who did you speak to? Who did you sit down and do an
Tim
interview
Erway.
with?
Tim Erway.
So you actually sat down with Tim.
Yeah, we did it over the phone.
Okay. That's awesome, man. That's really full on. I mean, that's got to be a highlight, I guess, in your career to actually be teamed up with those guys.
Yeah, it's really exciting because, first of all, working with a company like Magnetic Sponsoring, I mean, it's, people look at a company like Magnetic Sponsoring. Wow, it's and it is a big company, and Tim Erway is a big guru. But again, when you have something that you can provide value with, like my experience and everything that I've done up to that point, when you have something of value, that's what everybody wants. Doesn't matter how big or how small the company is, or how big or small the person is as far as business size. Everybody wants value. So if you have value to provide, you'll have more opportunities and more doors open. So all these years of sales experience and all the nights and days that I've spent studying copy and tweaking things, and all the money that I've spent on Google AdWords, all gave me the experience that I need to do what I do today, to provide value that I provide. So that's kind of how, and once we sat down, or we didn't sit down, once we talked over the phone, it worked out really well. So yeah, working with them is a lot of fun because I actually get to write every day about things that are on my mind about this business, because I think about it all the time. I mean, I know exactly what people in network marketing and in direct sales, what they go through, what their frustrations are, and because I come from that world, so it's not something that I have to make up and think about too much as far as well, what do these people need? Because I know exactly what people need. People are frustrated with the fact that they're not getting results. Okay, people are frustrated with the fact that, and it's true of any business really, it's not just network marketing. People are frustrated with the fact that they've done something and it's not working for them the way that they were promised, or they're tired of techniques that maybe their upline, if it's network marketing, that their upline have taught them, and they're not getting the results that they were promised. So I can certainly relate to those frustrations because I've had them for years. And I know that if you take the time to learn this business and do the things that we're talking about, learn lead generation, learn traffic strategies, all your problems will be solved. But you do have to put the time and effort to do it. So I talk about these things every day, and I kind of mix it with my personality. And yeah, it's fantastic. I mean, I really enjoy writing for them and working with them, and working with their people and jumping on the blog. And I get a ton of comments, because I also post on their blog or on their Facebook page, and it's a lot of fun.
That's awesome, man. Congratulations. That's just such a cool thing.
It is. Yeah, it is. And they're a great group of people. I mean, they really care. I mean, the products, that's another thing, And I come from, again, traditional world of sales. I don't think you can sell something long term if you don't believe in it. That's another thing. And there are a lot of people online that sell crap. I mean, let's face it. I mean, there's a lot of crap out there. There's a lot of stuff that's being pushed. And that's one of the reasons why when you mention internet marketing to some people, they say, oh, I tried this or I tried that, it didn't work. And it's a shame that these people got involved in something that didn't work. And we all have. I mean, we all got burnt. I did, certainly, more than once. But that never made me more skeptical or anything like that. I've always believed that if you believe in what you're doing, if you think that what you're doing is good, if you have a good product and service, there's nothing wrong with selling it, okay? But you have to make sure that what you're providing is good for people. That was my approach back when I was offline, with the services I was doing. And I'm doing the same thing right now. So I believe in what these guys are doing. I think their products are fantastic. I mean, I think they're helping a lot of people who want to get started online, who need strategies and, to learn how to get themselves going online. And I love talking about it every day because this is what helped me initially when I made that change from the offline world to the online world. This is exactly what I needed. This is exactly the kind of information I needed. So I'm a 100% believer that this stuff can change your life. Now, there's a flip side to that most people don't make it online. That's not because it doesn't work. It's because they don't work, or because they haven't taken the time to learn the things that they need to learn, or they haven't taken the time to implement those things, which is a whole other thing. I mean, people collect materials, books, ebooks. I don't know if you can see, I have behind them, I have this huge shelf, and that's just half of it. I have another one on this side. I have a ton of stuff. Okay, so one is, I invest in myself, and two, I actually implement. Maybe not all of it, but a lot of it.
Yeah,
I think that's most people don't implement. So I know that if you invest in yourself and if you implement the information and if you learn from your mistakes, then you will be successful. And I have no problem sitting down with people, or either face to face or through my computer screen, and telling people that it works, because it does. It changed my life.
Yes, and I think that's the key, isn't it? The implementation, because I've got a ton of stuff as well, and the stuff you don't use can still work as background knowledge for you.
What's that?
I'm saying the stuff that you might not necessarily implement every single little thing, but covering it, reading it, adding that to your knowledge base, it kind of gives you a good background for the stuff that you do actually implement.
That's a good point. And let me just say something about that. And this is really important, especially for newer people or somebody that's trying to get this going. There's so much stuff online, right? There's no shortage of information, especially when it comes to this. And the tendency for most people is to jump from one thing to the next thing. So you see a course, and let's say this course is about SEO or copywriting or whatever, okay? Or some kind of a system. And so they look at it and it's like, okay, this is it, this is the system, this is the magic bullet, because in the sales letter, in the video, whatever, was promised that if you just do these things, everything's going to be wonderful. And so they jump into it and they do it for a couple weeks, okay, or a couple months. And they don't get the results that right away that they thought they would. Maybe they get some results, but then something else comes along, because we're all on people's lists and we get emails umpteen times a day with a new product, a new launch. Somebody's always launching something in our industry. So you get something new, and all of a sudden that bright, new, shiny object sounds a little bit sexier than this. So you say, well, okay, that's great, but I want to learn this now. So they jump into this, and they keep jumping from one thing to the next thing to the next thing to the next thing, and they never give that one, whatever they're trying to do, they never give it a chance to actually mature and produce for them. So that's a big problem, okay? And what you said is really important. When you buy all this stuff, like all the stuff I buy, I don't jump from one thing to the next. I add it to my knowledge, and I simply look at what can I extract from it that can add to what I'm already doing. What can I learn from this material? I buy stuff all the time, but I don't jump. If I see something, I don't just say, okay, great, I'm going to stop everything I'm doing, I'm just going to follow this advice. No, I look at it and I say, okay, what can I take from here that I can add to what I'm already doing that can enhance it, make it better? And when you approach your purchases and whatever you're buying this way, now you're not jumping and trying to look for that next magic bullet, because there is no magic bullet. You got to have a system. Everybody has a different system, but you got to have a system, and you have to basically just keep adding to it and keep getting better. That's how I look at it.
Yeah. I've heard, I think it might have been T. Harv Eker or someone like that, has basically just said, get in line and stay in line. So get in the groove that you're heading towards, and discount what doesn't take you, keeps you in that direction, and add to what helps you enhance what you're doing. That's because that, I think I'll just explain a little bit too, like about, it was December last year where I'd followed that thing that you were talking about there for a while. Video. Okay, I'm doing video marketing. Okay, now I'm doing article marketing. Now I'm doing blogging. Now I'm doing all these things, and I kind of wasn't doing anything well, and my copier business kind of died a natural death with the GFC. So I hit a point where no money coming from copiers, nothing internet working specifically well, and then everything came crashing down. And I hit that point and I went, what am I going to do now? Okay, everything's just turned to dust. What am I going to do? And I sat down and I actually analysed all the stuff I'd learned over 6 years of online, offline, copiers, internet, and this show is the result. This show is like, okay, well, what have I learned? What works? What doesn't work? Why does it and doesn't it work? And I kind of pieced it together from the mess. But had I not gone through from one thing to the next thing to the next thing to the next thing, I'd know nothing about video, nothing about Skype or about copy, about blogs, about how to put websites together. So it's kind of like taking all that stuff and putting it together in a specific way that achieves a specific goal. So for me, I want to help guys like you tell your story so that you can do better in your business, get you on the show, and in asking you questions, I get to deliver great content from people who are really doing the stuff that works, the good guys, and that's what I want to do. I want to highlight the good guys, and I consider you a champion in this industry, in the online marketing industry, because even your website 4 years ago was no BS online marketing or something like that, and that's now lots of people.
I still have that domain, yeah. It's a great domain that I picked up.
Yeah, it's and for me that was like, that's it. I think that's why I was attracted to you in the first place. It was just no BS. It's like here's what works, here's what I found. it was my own fault that I went jump from thing to thing to thing. But I think that's the key is, find your focus. In doing all those things, I found what I love to do the most, which is to hang out with guys like you and just find out what you know and share that with people. And so now if it doesn't help me do that, ignore it. If it does help me, bring it into the mix in a very specific way.
That's what it's all about. It's about doing what you like. That's the freedom that this business gives you is being able to choose what you like and stick to that. I think that's fantastic. I mean, you started with one thing, but you see, if you don't jump from one thing, we all do that. I did that too. I mean, we all start there. But if you don't do that initially, you really won't know. You really won't figure out the pieces of the puzzle. So, So we all have to go through that. But it's great that you hung in there until you actually something clicked. And I'd like to ask you, what was it that clicked for you that led you to this? How did you end up doing this? Your show and making that the central part of your business, because that's really interesting. You went from promoting affiliate offers to all of a sudden you're now, interviewing people and getting different people and different opinions, and then have pretty big following.
What the key is for me, what it was everything turned to a mess, and I had to figure out a plan. Okay, I know a lot of things. I know I've got a lot of value to give. Where is that value? This is all in a state of depression too. This isn't like, okay, what am I going to do next? It was like, I got no money. We're dead in the water. I need to get back up off the ground and do something. Now I have my miserable failure story, which everyone needs in business. If you're going to have a story, it's got to be devastating somewhere, and I've got that. So for me, this is like the phoenix rising from the ashes, so to speak. I just sat down and went. The actual question, it was. If you're interested, I'll tell you. It's the question was, it was actually biblical. It was like, well, Jesus was asked, what's the most important commandment? And he answered with two things, love God with all your heart, mind, and soul. It was paraphrasing there. And the second thing, which I think most people relate to, whether you believe in God or not, is love your neighbor as yourself, which is treat people how you want to be treated. So I went and analyzed that specifically for business and went, okay, well, if I want to treat people a certain way, if that's the goal, how do I want to be treated? What do I want happening to me? How do I need to be loved? And I thought, well, I want people to promote my content. I want them to get value out of it. I want them to respect me, know me, like me, trust me, buy off me. And I thought, okay, well, I need to figure out a way then to do that for other people first. That needs to be, if that's how I want to be loved, that's what I need to do for people. And I thought, well, what's the favorite thing I've done out of everything I've done, which was interviewing people. So my first interview was with Jim Yagi, probably 2.5 years ago, something like that.
Yeah, great marketer.
Yeah, and so he taught me how to interview. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, man. I just asked you to do it because I thought it'd be a cool thing and I want to sort of do that. And he really helped me. We spoke for about an hour, 2 hours that day for like an hour-long interview. And so that was the first thing. And then the next one was probably like a year later or something. And out of all the stuff, I thought, that's my favorite thing to do. And I thought, well, how can I give those things first to other people and incorporate that with the interview? So that's for me, I get to promote you. I buy people's stuff. I promote them. I do all those things that I want done for me with the objective, not now you as a payback have to go out and promote me and buy my stuff and do all that. Not as a payback, but just as a way of life that in general, at some point, something's going to come back by putting out all this good stuff and helping people. And eventually, and it has. It was like actually happened fairly quickly. Where people turn around and go, fantastic. Look, come to I want to help you with your business, with what you're doing. I like what you're doing. Come to my event. And then they give me this $1,500 training for free. I didn't ask for it, but I want to help you. And then I learned some stuff there with them, and then they pay attention. They start sort of sharing my content and giving little testimonials for me. And bit by bit, and it's one person at a time. You build an audience one person at a time. It's not like, I'm going to go out and mine this for gold now. It's just like, just keep doing this thing that I love to do, and it's coming back. It's taken 10 months to get to this point, and then I'm here for 30 years, 40 years, till I die. This is what I'm going to be doing, this type of thing, because I love it. I've found my groove, and now it's just time to no,
I think that's fantastic.
Keep moving forward.
You reap what you sow. I mean, you're putting a lot of stuff out there, and doors of opportunity swing wide open. I mean, you never know who you're going to come across, who's going to hear it, and who's going to approach you. And I've had that happen many times. I mean, even the fact that I'm talking to you right now, it's really my pleasure and honor to because I think a lot of people are going to hear this, and hopefully something I said, somebody's going to take it, and something's going to click with them. Because I know it did that for me many times, hearing different people, and I appreciate a lot of different mentors and people that have come along that have helped me formulate and shape my thinking And kind of that's basically what we're doing right now is we're talking, but we're hopefully whoever's gonna listen to this is gonna, they're gonna get their thinking shaped and formulated, and that's gonna help them to the next level. So I think that's fantastic.
Yeah. And even that next step, not so much the next level of
even the next step. You're right.
$10,000. It's like, well, okay, now I have a better idea of what I can do next. Yeah.
Well, the next level is the next. I mean, really, you grow up in this business, and you start seeing the further you go, the more you see, and that would be the next level. Understanding what you do next.
Totally.
So.
I think what you said too was a key thing you said sort of before I started jabbering on was a key thing you said was how did you phrase it?
I don't know.
No. There's a key. Anyway, I've lost it. It was something that you said that really struck me. Oh, yeah, that's it. Hanging in there, just hanging in there. Like, I think it's the belief that this is going to work, and it's kind of out there and doesn't have anything attached to it that makes you keep holding on to it. But like, just hanging in there till you learn those lessons that you need to keep going.
But this comes from my years in offline and direct sales. You get ingrained into all that thinking, winners never quit, quitters never win, and these phrases get thrown around so much, but it's the truth. And I can recall it. I had somebody ask me, somebody on Facebook asked me very recently, what was the key moment for you? What was the defining moment for you? And I started thinking, what was the defining moment for me? And I had a couple, but this has to do with hanging in there. I can go back to 1995 when I get involved in that original business, and my eyes got opened up. Oh my gosh, you can do all these things. I'm looking at all these success stories, and you're 19 years old and you're seeing all this at any age. I mean, it's exciting, but especially when you're 19, especially when you're young and you don't have all that baggage. Although I've already been working, in different jobs at that time, and so I went to this meeting. It was a big, big meeting. That's one thing about offline business. The one exciting thing is you actually get to do a lot of face-to-face, and you actually it's not just on webinars, and you actually get to see a lot of people in live events. Anyway, so I went to this big meeting. It was probably about 5,000 people, and there was a lot of excitement. And I knew right there and then this is what I want to do. I was not, I can't remember exactly what someone said. There were a lot of different speakers, but I just knew right there and then that I don't want to work for anybody. I don't care how long it takes. I don't care what I have to go through. I'll crawl through broken glass on my hands and knees, and I'll figure this thing out. It was something completely different than this, but it was just the whole idea that I made that firm decision. I made that firm commitment that I don't want to be stuck in a cubicle working for a corporation 9 to 5. That's not what I want to do for the rest of my life. And that feeling, that was 17 years ago. That still is burning in me today. Sure, there were tons of ups and downs. I had to change my course many different times. Everybody goes through that. But I never gave up on that idea. That's hanging in there. Most people don't have that. Most people don't have that. Most people they say, yeah, I want to do this. And then 2 months later, they say, I don't know, this is not working. Maybe this is not for me.
Yeah.
Well, probably wasn't for you right out of the get-go because you never made that decision initially that you're going to do this, whatever it is, whatever that business is. So I think it's that attitude is very important. Hanging in there, never quitting, never giving up. I mean, you may have to change things. I had to completely change. I had to let go of my old business and get out of that industry and go into online. It's totally different. But I'm still pursuing that dream of being on my own and doing my own thing. Even though I had to change direction. And even online in the last 7 years, I had to change many directions. But, it is what it is. So.
Yeah, I think that's a key thing too. Like being able to be adaptable to change when you need to change. It's like hanging in there, but it's not just doing the same thing just because, I've got to hang in there and just do this thing. That thing still might not be right. It's a lot of wisdom sort of comes into it when you need to change direction, when you don't need to change direction too. So I would never have dreamed when I came across your first little ad and clicked on it and watched your video that I'd be running a show, an internet show. An internet show wouldn't have even been a thing, I don't know, back then. There might have been some, but I never would have dreamed that up. But the fact that I went through all the stuff, I could dream it up at some point and go, that's what I'm going to do. And so, so hanging in there is hanging in with your dream and your vision. That'll be it. Let's talk about that. The why. That's really what it is, isn't it?
Having a big why. Yeah, I had a lot of mentors even before I got started in this business, and one of them, one of my key mentors, he used to say that, you know, your income is dictated by your goals, by your why. You know, what you did last month. You don't need to tell me what you did. I just know. Or he said it this way. He said, you don't need to tell me what your goals are. I can tell what your goals are or what your why is by how much money you've made last month. and that is, and you know, when you have deep burning desire that drives you, I think everything eventually starts falling into place. I know it's kind of, you know, out there, but that's the truth. That when you have a big vision and a big dream, whatever that is for you, that is what keeps you going. That is what keeps that fire burning, okay? Because in business, even in this business, as great as this business is, there are challenges. There are frustrations. There are things that are not going to go your way. And the bigger you become, the more you understand that things like that are going to happen almost on a daily basis. Okay, there are going to be things. It's just like you know, you go to any local retail store. There's a checkout line, and then there's a refund line. So any business is like that. You know, some people are happy, they're buying stuff, and some people are not happy, they're returning stuff. Hopefully, you have less people returning stuff than buying stuff, right? So more going out than coming back in. But the point is that, you know, every business is like that, little or big. And when you have a big dream, and when you have a big why, and when you have that desire, you don't let those little things get to you. You don't let that deviate you from your path. Okay, you may have to change your path, you may have to change your direction, but that why is very, very important. Having emotional reasons that drive you. You know, when I got started, I had different goals. This was a long, long time ago. I wasn't married, although actually we were dating. And then later we got married, but we didn't have kids. You know, we weren't married at the time, so my goals were different than they are today. But today I have 3 kids. I have completely different goals, and you know, you have kids, so you know what I'm talking about. You need to have those. Those are my emotional reasons, okay? And we all need to have those emotional reasons to keep us going. Most people are not programmed from the early childhood to think about the future and to think about, you know, what their life is going to turn out like. They're programmed to think about today and next paycheck. I mean, that's unfortunately how school and society programs us. That's the battle that we all have to fight with. The quicker you can reprogram your thinking and rewire and get into the entrepreneurial thinking, which is you're not living for the paycheck. Okay, you're living to build your dream life, whatever that means for you. The quicker you're going to become successful. I mean, that's the bottom line. So the quicker you can reprogram yourself, the quicker you're going to let go of all that stuff that's holding you back. I firmly believe in that. That's one of the reasons why I keep buying all this stuff. Yeah. Even after 17 years, I keep reprogramming. It never ends. It never stops.
Okay, man. So if people really want to, you know, start following their dream, or you know, they're hearing you and they go, "Oh man, this Vitaly guy, I think he might be able to help me out." How is it that you can help people out? What can you do for people, and how can they contact you?
Well, the best thing to do is just go to my website, vitalygrinblat.com, and it's a blog, and that basically all my information is there. What I do, what I have to offer, and you know, it just depends on what people are looking for. So that would be the best place, just to go to my website and take a look. And if you like what you see, opt into my list, and you'll start getting my emails, and that's where I really tell my story, and you know, share a lot of stuff is in my emails and in my ongoing communication with people on a pretty regular basis.
Okay, so I'm going to put the link down there so people can actually get to you. So yeah, it'll be down there in the show notes, guys. Click on the link, go visit Vitaly. I did the same thing 4 years ago, and the reason you're here today is because I did that same thing 4 years ago. Is the real deal, is the genuine article. You're going to get good stuff. It's free of hype, free of BS. There might be a bit of copywriting magic because he is a copywriter, but yeah, that's all good stuff. All right, Vitaly, thanks so much for sharing your story, mate. It's been a thrill for me to actually sit here and have this conversation. It's been fantastic. It's been my honor. I really enjoy talking about this stuff, and I enjoy talking to you, and I look forward to doing it again in the future, and hopefully you can reciprocate and do the same thing for me. Oh, for sure, man, for sure. All right, Vitaly, you make it a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. All right, thanks.